David. The name echoes through history, synonymous with courage, faith, and leadership. His story is one of the most enduring tales of triumph against overwhelming odds. But before the crown, before the psalms, before the victories, David was a shepherd boy, tending his father's flocks in the fields of Bethlehem. His days were filled with the simple yet demanding tasks of a shepherd. He knew the quiet solitude of the hills, the starry nights, the constant companionship of his sheep. The vast open skies were his ceiling and the earth his bed. He learned responsibility, patience and courage, facing down lions and bears to protect his flock. Each encounter with danger honed his skills and steeled his resolve. Little did he know these were lessons preparing him for a greater purpose, a destiny far beyond the sheepfolds. His mind often wandered to dreams of what lay beyond the horizon. David's early life was a study in contrasts, a juxtaposition of humble beginnings and divine destiny. The simplicity of his daily life stood in stark contrast to the grandeur of his future. He was the youngest of 8 sons, often overlooked and underestimated. His brothers were warriors, but David was the shepherd, the one left behind. Yet beneath his unassuming exterior burned a heart after God, a spirit attuned to the divine symphony of creation. His prayers were as constant as the stars above him. He poured out his heart in song, his melodies carrying the scent of wildflowers and the echoes of bleating sheep. His music was a reflection of his soul, pure and untainted. In the solitude of the fields, he developed an unshakable faith in the God of Israel. A faith that would soon be tested on a battlefield against all odds. This faith was his anchor, his guiding light through the darkest of times. The Philistine army had gathered for war against Israel, their ranks filled with seasoned warriors and fierce combatants. Among them stood their champion, a giant named Goliath, who towered over the battlefield, taunting the Israelite ranks with his booming voice and menacing presence. Fear paralyzed Saul's mighty warriors, their courage dwarfed by Goliath's immense size and fearsome armor. The sight of the giant struck terror into their hearts, causing them to cower behind their shields. But not David. When he heard Goliath's blasphemous challenges, a righteous anger stirred within him. This young shepherd, untrained in the art of war, felt a divine calling to confront the giant. He volunteered to face the giant, armed with nothing but his shepherd's staff, a sling, and an unshakable faith in the God of Israel. His brothers and fellow soldiers doubted him, but David's resolve was unbreakable. David's encounter with Goliath was more than just a battle. It was a clash of faith against fear, of courage against cowardice. It was a moment that would define the power of belief and the strength of the human spirit. While others saw a terrifying giant, David saw an enemy of God, a blasphemer who dared defy the armies of the living God. He knew that victory belonged to the Lord, and he was determined to be the vessel through which it was delivered. David's faith was unwavering. He prayed for strength and guidance, looking up with a heart full of trust in divine protection. He knew that the battle was not his alone, but the Lord's. With a simple prayer and a swift swing of his sling, David released the stone that found its mark. The stone flew with divine precision, striking Goliath on the forehead and felling the giant. Goliath's fall sent shockwaves through the Philistine army, causing them to retreat in fear and confusion. The once invincible force was now in disarray, fleeing from the battlefield. David's victory became a testament to the power of faith, a story that would be told for generations. The Israelites celebrated their unlikely hero, and the battlefield echoed with their triumphant cries. This timeless tale serves as a reminder that with God on our side, no obstacle is too great to overcome. David's triumph over Goliath is a symbolic victory of light over darkness, of divine power over earthly might. David's triumph over Goliath catapulted him to fame, marking the beginning of an extraordinary journey. He became a national hero, celebrated for his courage and unwavering faith in God. The people of Israel saw in David a beacon of hope and strength. King Saul, initially impressed by David's bravery and skill, soon grew envious of the young man's rising popularity. The songs of praise for David echoed louder than those for Saul, planting seeds of suspicion and fear in the king's heart. Despite Saul's growing jealousy and repeated attempts on his life, David remained steadfast in his loyalty. He refused to harm Saul, recognizing him as God's anointed king, and chose to honor him even in the face of danger. David's heart remained true to God, and his character was unstained by bitterness or resentment. He sought solace in prayer and meditation, finding strength in his faith. Even as he navigated the treacherous court of Saul, David's faith shone brightly. He played the harp for Saul, soothing the troubled king with his music, and continued to serve with humility and grace. He continued to compose psalms, pouring out his heart to God in songs of praise, lament, and thanksgiving. These psalms reflected his deep relationship with God and his understanding of human emotions. These inspired words, born out of his personal experiences of victory, loss, fear, and hope, would resonate throughout the ages. They offered comfort, guidance, and spiritual nourishment to countless souls, becoming a timeless testament to his faith. Unbeknownst to David, God was preparing him for a greater purpose. His trials and triumphs were shaping him into a leader who would be after God's own heart. In secret, the prophet Samuel anointed David as the future king of Israel. This anointing marked the beginning of a destiny that would unfold through many challenges and victories, ultimately shaping him into a leader who would guide his people with wisdom and faith.